Mind-blowing stories. The idea of achieving immortality might sound like something out of a fiction novel. Yet there was a real figure whose very existence blurred the line between what's possible and impossible. The enigmatic Count of Saint Germain. His name echoes through scattered tales across centuries, as recently as the 1970s, always wrapped in the same mystery. He never seemed to age. Moreover, he sometimes assumed different identities, effortlessly navigating aristocratic circles as someone who knew all their secrets. Some revered him as an all-knowing sage. Others viewed him as a prophet. Many dismissed him as a charlatan, healer, spy, or visionary. But beyond these labels, the question remains, who was this man really? And more unsettling, could he have truly lived forever? The answer is far more complex than you might think. One of the few known portraits of him was painted by Nicholas Thomas in 1783, inspired by a now-lost painting owned by the eccentric and wealthy Marquise d'Urfé in France. To grasp the scale of his legend, we must go back to the origins of his story, a slippery realm where facts are scarce but rumors abound. No definitive birth record exists. Most accounts place his birth around the 1690s. Genealogical research by Annie Wersinger, in her book, The Count of Saint Germain, The Portrait of Kings, claims he was born in 1690 as the son of Francis II Rákóczi, the second Prince of Transylvania. Other versions say he was the illegitimate son of Mariana of Neuburg, widow of Charles II of Spain. Some even suggest he descended directly from King John V of Portugal. Though none of these theories have been confirmed, the suspicion of royal blood runs like a constant thread through all the stories. Noble, yes, but with no claim to a throne. As if the mystery weren't enough, older and stranger rumors say he lived in the time of Jesus Christ, witnessing the wedding at Cana, and even seeing firsthand the moment a young Jesus turned water into wine. Regarding his documented life, the line between fact and legend is blurry. His supposed gifts, reserved nature, and magnetic presence turned every encounter into myth-making material. The one thing undisputed is that he was considered a master alchemist. At that time, alchemy was not just a laboratory art, but the hidden branch of an ancient philosophy seeking the ultimate transformation of both matter and spirit. One of his most coveted goals was creating the so-called projection powder, or philosopher's stone, a substance believed to transmute base metals into pure gold and distill an elixir granting eternal life. Supporters claim the Count discovered this secret. Contemporaries were convinced he possessed extraordinary abilities. Casanova, who met him in 1760, wrote that the man calmly claimed to be 300 years old, to know universal medicine, master the laws of nature, and even melt diamonds. His reputation grew with every journey. Though mentioned in chronicles for centuries, his real leap into European high society came after 5 years at the Persian Shah's court, perfecting his jewelry craft. By 1742, he reached Versailles, charming nobility with his erudition, quick wit, and natural charm. No topic was unfamiliar to him. Fluent in French, German, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, and English, he also knew Chinese, Latin, Arabic, ancient Greek, and Sanskrit. Beyond languages, he was a talented painter, virtuoso violinist, and ambidextrous. It was said he could write a letter with one hand while composing poetry with the other. Though he had known bank accounts, his fortune seemed inexhaustible. Some attributed it to his lineage, others to the possibility he really transformed metals into gold. Wherever he settled, he set up a laboratory, claiming to enlarge diamonds and pearls for his clothing. He had strange habits. Though often dining with company, he was rarely seen eating. Rumor had it he lived mostly on oats. The episode that cemented his immortality legend happened in 1760 Paris, when the elderly Countess of Jergy recognized him as the same man she met in Venice in 1710. He hadn't aged a day. Calmly, He assured her he was the same person. She recalled he looked about 50 then and now looked exactly the same. Other witnesses made similar remarks, to which he cryptically replied, "Madame, I am very old." Since then, the idea of his immortality spread like wildfire through European salons. Tracing the Count of Saint Germain through history leads into a maze of anecdotes, historical records, and literary tales. In the 1740s, he became a trusted diplomat at King Louis XV's court in France, holding private talks and reportedly carrying out secret missions. In 1763, he played a similar role in the Netherlands, where he met Casanova. In 1765, he traveled to Russia and, rumors say, took part in the conspiracy that brought Catherine the Great to power. In 1774, he returned to France, coinciding with Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette's reign. At court, he acted as a mysterious advisor to the Queen and allegedly warned her of the French Revolution 15 years before it erupted. Marie Antoinette, obsessed with youth and beauty, couldn't ignore a man whose appearance defied time. In 1779, he went to Hamburg, Germany, befriending Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel. There he claimed to be 88 and son of the Transylvanian prince. Together they established a laboratory working on alchemical processes. Records show he died February 27, 1884, buried in a private tomb. For a normal man, that would be the end, but for the Count of Saint Germain, it was just another chapter. Philosophers like Voltaire described him as a man who never died and knew everything. Testimonies of his presence continued after his supposed death. He was seen in Germany with Anton Mesmer in 1785, at Masonic meetings, and even at Marie Antoinette's execution in 1793, according to the Countess of Adjamar, never having aged. Rumors also placed him at pivotal moments, like the signing of the U.S. Declaration of Independence in 1775. In 1820, writer Albert Van Dam described meeting in Paris a man identical to the Count, with vast historical knowledge and the same apparent age. By the late 19th century, occultist Helena Blavatsky claims Saint Germain was still alive, working for Western spiritual development as one of the masters of ancient wisdom with extraordinary powers. There's even a photo of her with him in India. According to these beliefs, he lived multiple lives, from the mythical wandering Jew to the wizard Merlin, Francis Bacon, Plato, or even Christopher Columbus. The last major chapter came in the 20th century, when in 1972, a man named Richard Chanfray appeared in Paris claiming to be the Count himself. On television, he demonstrated turning lead into gold, confirmed by experts. He also claimed to recognize palaces from past lives, and according to journalist Jose Maria Inigo, attempted to resurrect a dog with projection powder. He died in 1983, taking his secrets with him. The idea of a man living multiple lives isn't absurd in some traditions. Tibetan Buddhism, for example, recognizes the Dalai Lama's reincarnation through tests identifying his belongings in childhood. If Saint Germain was a master of ancient wisdom, perhaps he followed a similar pattern, rebirthing repeatedly with full awareness. Since Chanfray's death, no one has openly claimed the title, but the legend endures. Some believe the Count still walks among us, quietly moving on history's margins until the right moment. Was he an alchemist who found the secret to eternal life, a reincarnated mystic, a time traveler, a being from another world, or a vampire? Or was he simply an extraordinary man who cleverly crafted his reputation into an unbreakable myth?